Take a look at your iPhone, laptop, car, or any other complicated piece of technology you love and use every day. These items wouldn't exist without capitalism. My name is Maxwell Hubbard, and I would like to persuade you that capitalism is the greatest economic system in the world. I'll do this through three main points. First, capitalism is improving lives at an accelerating rate. Second, over the history of the United States, one trend has remained constant: the decline of costs for an improving quality of life, goods, and services. And three, in the near future, AI will provide everyone with all the wealth that they need. So, main point number one, capitalism is the greatest machine for innovation. The main reason capitalism is so effective at creating wealth comes from a three-step process. First, it forces people to compete against each other to provide the best product or service at the cheapest cost. Second, these people realize the best way to beat each other is by innovating. Third, this innovation allows them to produce a better product at a lower price than their competitors. According to Encyclopedia Britannica, before Henry Ford's invention of the assembly line, it would take 12.5 man-hours to manufacture one chassis for a car. After the invention of the assembly line, it took 6 hours, which is a 100% improvement in economic efficiency. This is a perfect example of how innovation lowered the cost of manufacturing a good that everyone wanted to a price that most people can afford today. Today, almost everyone in the country can afford at least an older or used car. Recently, with the invention of the internet, computers, and software, many tedious tasks that required arduous physical labor or monotonous mental labor are now done with computers and software. Computers and software were pioneered by Microsoft with Windows, HP with the first desktop computer, and Apple with the first all-in-one computing platform. All of these companies are US-based companies and came about as a result of capitalism. As a result, people are actually making more money doing easier work and are allowed to live a more comfortable life compared to many places around the world or in the history of the United States. According to the US Bureau of Labor Statistics, the number of workers in IT in 1970 was 450,000. In 2016, the number has grown tenfold to 4.5 million. The average income in this field, adjusted for inflation, has also risen over the past 36 years to $80,665. This shows that more of American workforce is able to do an easier job and gain a higher salary than they were in the past. As people innovate and create newer, better technologies, we can spend less time doing the things that we don't want to do and more time doing the things that we do want to do. Over the history of America, one trend has remained constant: the declining cost for an improving quality of life, goods, and services. If you extrapolate to infinity in a capitalist economy, eventually everything costs so little that it's basically free. This has happened with things like water and electricity. Homeless people can go to a park and find a water fountain to get fresh water from, and most public establishments have receptacles that are accessible by patrons. Socialism and communism seek to be rid of inequality by redistributing wealth. This sounds great in theory, but the problem is no nation has created enough wealth to do this successfully. The most recent example of this occurred in Venezuela. According to Daniel D. Martino, in 1998, Hugo Chavez was elected president of Venezuela, and he immediately created policies which transferred ownership of private businesses to the government and created social welfare programs to keep the cost of goods low so that and provide everyone with health care. He was able to fund this at the time due to the massive amount of money Venezuela had coming in from their oil exports. But in 2014, when oil prices dropped around the world, the government was no longer able to support all the social programs it had created. It also issued price ceilings for things like milk, toilet paper, and other things like that. And it led to everyone being able to afford them, but the factories that produced them couldn't turn a profit, so they shut down. And now Venezuela is facing hyperinflation. Their people are starving because no one's producing anything, and they're in total economic collapse. The problem with Venezuela, as well as other countries that have tried socialist policies, is that their economy hasn't created enough wealth to sustainably fund their social programs. To quote Margaret Thatcher, eventually you run out of other people's money. In the near future, AI will provide everyone with all the wealth they need. As a result of US innovation, AI will be able to autonomously do all the tasks that humans previously was needed to do at a higher quality and for almost no cost. For example, Tesla has cited that they are creating robotaxis, self-driving cars which can be operated for about 18 cents a mile. Compare this to 62 cents per mile for ownership of a car, or $2 to $3 per mile for an Uber or Lyft. They are able to do this because Uber and Lyft have to pay someone to drive the car, and the average owned car is an internal combustion engine which requires extensive maintenance and runs on liquefied dead dinosaurs. A Tesla runs on electricity provided by solar panels, and the taxi service is provided by their AI. This cuts costs tenfold, improving passenger safety, and doesn't require maintenance or pollute the earth. This is an example of how capitalism incentivizes a company to create a better solution which costs less than the competitor and increase the quality of the good and service. Eventually, all monotonous tasks will be completed by AIs, making everything safer and cheaper and easier. We all want things like universal health care, but we have to figure out a way to pay for them. The cost of these valuable pieces of our society will drop so low that even the least wealthy people will have access to everything they need. Through capitalistic innovation, we can eliminate scarcity that exists in society today. And once we do that, we can sustainably live in a utopia promised to us by socialism and capitalism, or communism.